mountain, and all becomes a line. This is something I tell myself every single day. Don't get depressed. Don't get depressed. Don't get depressed and then randomly not live stream. Get disappointed in myself for not doing shit. Ugh. You ever tell yourself not to get depressed and then you get depressed? It's like telling yourself to not eat cake while eating cake. Alright. Swear to God, every background changes for every area I get into. Alright, welcome back to the Greatest Attorney, where I am going to continue where I left off and do stuff. So in the last live stream, we made some progress in the investigation where we visited James Garnetzx, and we did a bit of one of those weird logic and reasoning spectacular things with Sholmes and found out that there's a bit of an abusive relationship between Mr. and Mrs. Garnetzx. So, and I don't know if there's any... Well, actually, I think I have an idea of the relevance of stuff, because this frickin' bookshelf got burnt! What a miserable sight. Everything's all black. Maybe that's why the maid couldn't stop almost not getting a racist joke. Oh dear, but at least the whole room was engulfed in flames. Everything was on fire.
I suppose so. But my whole collection went up in smoke, you know. All those novels I adored so much.
Tisk! Well, John, whose fault is that? I blame you, even though I tried to set the place ablaze, but what the hell?
Not mine, that's for sure.
Oh, my. Well, whoever may or may not be to blame. I'm quite sure you can buy some new old books to replace them, can't you?
New old books.
What? I don't know, it's just those two words, new and old, going together.
New old books. Badly nonsense.
It does sound like a contradiction in terms, but then those two are full of contradictions. Yeah, because they are literally opposites. She's wearing like a sunflower ring, literally representing the sun, and he's like the moon. In some cases, it's weird those two go together. That's a couple for you, Mr. Naruto, or so I've been led to believe. By who, I wonder? Also, is there anything else I can get out of this? No. Have I examined everything? Got everything? This window looks out over Briar Road where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing open at all, I wonder? I sure underestimate the bitterness of the London winter, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Sorry. As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner will go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. Seems very unlikely that these two would even see anything of the incident then. I haven't even examined this yet. The uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly a bit well looked after, though. His old uniform.
I don't think, Pa, not much better than rags, really.
Oh?
Well, that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past. Me would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it does hurt to have the old pieces of memorabilia. Oh god. Lying around, does it?
Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Oh well. I guess you put it out. Why is there a cannon in the living room? That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing here? Oh my! It's real! I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing? Bah, that's a little more than a toy.
Sorry.
The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon up at the house.
Really? It isn't overkill?
Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world's gonna throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garnetzx?
Always is. Takes you on here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Tries them over the barrel, you see. And dry very well on the can there, Joanne tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel.
It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge can looks like its head in shame. Okay. Alright. Now, that book. Wait, the secondhand book receipt. That's nice room. So there was one thing I did want to ask. The receipt from the book.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Ninnerhollow, but I'm afraid it's supper time now. I'll have to ask you to leave.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. If we linger too long, Mrs. Garnetzx will start pouring tea again. No one wants that. Alright, shall we go then? No doubt Mr. Susaki-san is beside himself in the cell waiting for us to return. I can't afford to spend any longer making up my mind. Alright, I probably have to head to the prison and let him know. Quickly. So, I have to decide to defend Natsume. Wait, what? Railroad. Wait, I thought we were going to the prison. It's time, Mr. Nato. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail car. Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garnetzx house. Huh? What? Who is this?
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers.
Who the hell is this?
Who are you calling, old man? You rum-looking ninpini? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of your philosophy. Who's this Horatio Finley, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
Eh? What the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Yusuke Naruhado, is a lawyer, you see.
Eh, a lawyer? What?
If I can be any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan. I've studied English law.
Tisk! Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet!
What?
Get thee to another...
Are you trying to be Hamlet? You're trying to be Hamlet. You're trying to be frickin' Hamlet!
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
What the hell? Oh god. What is up with this character? Because the only line I ever... Because the line, get thee to nunnery, is from Hamlet. From the play Hamlet. I do hope you're not injured.
Oh, fairest in men, thou art so gentle. Thank you.
What was that all about?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
You're still trying to play Hamlet! Hey, remember me? No! Yeah, no. I'm just... no! No. Trinidad. No. Why? Why? I sent you the funny video. Oh, God. Okay, I can definitely remember the funny video part. Oh, God. You tried to send me some random torture porn shit. Dear God, why do you keep trying to send me torture porn? Why torture porn? Why? Alright, fine. I'm not Horatio either. Why are you trying to... Forgive the inquiry, sir, but... Are you the lodger here, in the Garnetzx residence? Oh, fair Sir Maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garnetzx mentioned they had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Now... Do you happen to know the other lodger lives on the first floor?
Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a poor Mr. Mabado was here, could there be?
Sorry, battle did you say?
Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume, and I spared long into the night.
Oh god, is it another Kirk versus Picard argument again? Who's better? This person or this person? I see. Oh, I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. Why are you smiling all the time? Why are you smiling all the time?
So fair men, so good gentlemen. I can tell you here no longer. Fare thee well!
Oh, God. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki and the man as lodgers, the Garnetzx house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly waiting our turn. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Hopefully. And let him know we're going to take the case. 19th February. Still looking over his shoulder like someone's going to stab him right in the back. Well, prison cell 9. Oh god, he's still nervous as hell. He looks... I don't know, just something up with his eyebrows, just weirdly drawn or something. I don't know.
Oh, I see you. You're here. You okay? Look, I'm soon Minnesota Alejandro Esquire! I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched!
You look pissed off.
We are so sorry to keep you.
Helen, why do you keep saying that?
Oh no, take it over, relax. I'll work out. I'll approve with manager of the company.
Oh, figured.
I will approve with pleasure of the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nepalese!
Really? 3 people mentioning that? You got 3 different people mentioning the same thing? So what? Okay, now let's not get carried away.
Oh, God, okay. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land.
What?
On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact.
Such is my belief, at least.
Ah, oh, yes, it's you!
Oh, he's nervous over that.
The miserable rotten spy! Sherlock Holmes!
Sir Holmes, what are you doing here?
I have no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course.
I'm walking to your party. Fine. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in the Globeful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see our diverse friend is faring. Globeful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window. Oh, figures. Oh well. Now, where was I? At least your accommodation. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight. It cost me not a penny. Yeah, he's at a party. Has a party. What? Has a party? What? I don't have a party. I have no idea what you're talking about. It cost me not a penny.
Ah, you! How dare you! Sherlock Holmes!
Okay. He's really pissed off at Sherlock Holmes. Oops. Where was I? I'm just looking up a couple things for a second. Alright, there we go. Now, where was I? Oh yes, getting back to the Livestream. Now,
I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should have never come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake.
why is it a terrible mistake?
Haunted by spirits in the accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial. As well. My whole life has been damned!
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? You mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? His lodgings were cursed. What the hell does that mean?
There's so much truth in Mr. Mustache's words.
Uh-huh. What? I'm just looking at this thing right here. So for those of you who can't tell, I have pizza party? No, there is not a pizza party, and I don't see anybody with pizza. And just to prove what I'm saying, I have this thing right up here. So I'll actually show.
So I can easily tell. Because I have an eye on everything.
Yes, he has 20 pizzas. There are no 20 pizzas right here. I can assure you. Because I actually see everything.
And I can see everything. So nobody can tell me otherwise.
Okay? Because I have a security camera. There we go.
So if anyone does try something... Oh no.
Alright, now let me put this up here. There we go, okay. Good. What?
Curse is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings. And indeed, for tomorrow's trial.
What's that supposed to mean? Cursed trial, cursed lodgings. Why is everything cursed? Mr. Nutsme, what do you mean by what you just said now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed.
Oh no! Why are you looking so great? You're making me nervous! I was just getting carried away. That's all. I didn't mean...
Oh, I see. That's really agitated him.
You don't mean this trials really is cursed somehow?
Yeah, let me double check a couple things. My god, I might as well give him the courage, the cowardly dog voice, because of how nervous he is. Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? Because anyone who's ever approached, like anyone who's ever on trial in a court where Van Zeeks has ever been in, ends up dead the next day. It has happened to McGilded, so I don't know. Will the same thing happen to Soseki? I don't know. Even I haven't seen enough videos lately.
The Reaper? Oh no! What do you mean? Please, tell me! Summarize this in 16 salient words!
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution, ever.
Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly!
Yesterday, Mr. Naruto successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded.
What? What? Oh!
Oh my god,
I'm impressed, Mrs. Susato. You have an eye for the detail.
Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself.
Oh no, he couldn't have, surely? You have some wonderful notions.
Sorry?
The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh yes, why of course he is.
Of course he is! Then why are you trying to scare me? I sweat over here! It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis.
Oh my god. Alright, I'm just double checking everything. Are we good? We're good. Okay, we're good. I'm just... No, I'm not looking at the security camera. I'm just looking at the stream health. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. So is Soseki gonna have the same fate as Mr. McGill did? Garnetzx is quite an acceptable man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception.
That's good!
Soseki-san looks like he's gonna cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, which the jury offers a public opinion and common sense. It's an excellent system where the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, as from time to time, my dear madame, it is simply the reality of the situation. Everything is shit. Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting all stuffed up. I need a better setup than what I got. Than a simple security camera and a phone in front of my desktop. I need to get like a big multi setup. I need way more setups than what I got. And that's alright. However, those indicted by the Lord Garnetzx cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my! Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking.
Disappear? But how?
By all manner of misfortunes, sir. Perhaps they are trampled onto a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Much like the ones on RuneScape, you know.
Oh, no.
Oh man, did I come up with a voice for Soseki or what? All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Nada Hado.
I knew it. I'm dead. Dodo, done for, doomed.
I don't know. Yeah. Cursed lodgings. What exactly is up with your cursed lodgings? You said a cursed lodgings before. You were referring to a room at Mr. Garnetzx's house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed?
It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself.
That didn't take long then.
Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. Stop laughing, you! And I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me all the time, from dawn till dusk. That's racism, you know. So I tried myself away in the room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, being away all the way from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times, but most recently to that room in Briar Road, a week ago now.
Yes. Why didn't you live there? Seems a little inconvenient.
The rent is cheap. I have so little money. It appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, If you have something to say, then say it! But if not, don't mention it in the first place!
Yes, well said.
But it was true. It was all true. True!
You mean the room really is cursed then?
Ever since I moved that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I woke up feeling as though I being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all?
When you are like a frickin' Edgar Allan Poe in prison, to believe? Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes?
I don't know why I got so stuffed up all of a sudden. I gotta clear my nose.
And it is almost 9 o'clock again, which I gotta have my melatonin. Because I have my melatonin at 9. Mr. Sholmes?
Me? Mr. Naruhado? Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about the case on the SS Beria, if you recall.
The Beria.
That case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was a suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why. Why do you believe in me? I see. Yes, you mean. Because you were grimly dressed, shady eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yeah. A little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear Flella. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you are telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
Yes, he's right! He's right! Look up soon, Mr. Naruhado Esquire!
So in other words, Naruhado must trust himself in order to do this. Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. That's what Kazuma said. You're so right, Kazuma. And here we are again, full circle. Down to that very same thing. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we are leaving now, then. Already? Visiting hours over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? No, there is never enough time. You gotta make use of the time you got.
It's like,
Mr. Nutsme? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you.
Hey! I'm soon, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! Ah!
No. Nah, I just made that last part up. As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I represented was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court.
Look, I'm soon, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire!
I'll fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow.
As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume.
It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo.
Naruhodo! I don't know why I keep saying Hado. Dear God. Maybe it's just weird. What the hell?
That your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it.
Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. That's gotta burn. Miss Susato.
Yes?
Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court?
Absolutely!
As I said this morning, you may consider me
your personal judicial assistant.
Right. Right. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Because someone believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. So Seki-san has no one. He's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. Okay, so now we go to the trial tomorrow. Blech. So freaking dry. Was it a good idea to have that thermogenic this morning? 20th February, 9:23 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true. But for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her the only one time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot.
The early bird catches the worm, as I see here in Britain.
Yes, I've heard that expression.
But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result.
Do all literary people take things so literally? Are you frickin' Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy? Is that what this is? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. Don't be a Drax. Don't be a Drax. Alright, dang it, I gotta have my melatonin.
I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm 2! Terrified 2! Tremble!
You're always trembling. Who are you kidding? Alright, that's it. I gotta have my freaking melatonin. Give me a second. But actually, here. And I gotta put my pillow over here. I put my pillow Over there! Now put my payload back here! Oh, man. Why do I do this? So I can sleep unlike so second. Actually, I'll just do this. See? That's what I have every night. Melatonin. Why? So I can sleep soundly. Because I'll be finishing the live stream in an hour. Alright. Really? Because I can feel tremors on the floor. Okay.
I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, look, I'm soon at Mr. Nahato Esquire.
Yes.
I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. Looked like an opening. Oh, bar. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was so much of a notorious affair in London.
Oh, neither did I. Melatonin teleported trash. No, it didn't. It's right here. On my desk. Do you know why that might be, Mr. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence, then, is it?
Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it?
Lord Van Zeeks. Is that right, Mr. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of everyone. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Grayson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeeks return to the courtroom after a long hiatus. Seriously? He looks like Vampire Edgeworth, with some extra hair. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. Because Hodo had to defend this Irish rich guy. And after defending him, he died. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. We wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is this Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking. Why are this? Yeah. And they are all speculating various answers.
Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us.
Oh dear, I meant no offense. Meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it.
Well, lest we forget the fact that we could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. And there's another blatant similarity with the trial 2 days ago.
Yes, I agree.
Look at soon, Mr. Nahato Esquire. It's you!
Me? Well, I suppose that's true.
Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper!
No. That may have happened in the Phoenix Wright series, but it didn't necessarily mean in this series. Please, I don't rub shoulders with... Ah, shit, who said what? Actually, nah. Never mind that. With Deathbringers. I'm afraid there's really one other explanation. It can be another example, Mr. Naruto, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least looking loyal lame!
Why? Who keeps saying that? Who the hell? Nah, it's just nothing. Nah, it's just nothing. It's just freaking alarm. Can I turn these alarm off? Prioritize. Silence. There we go. Silenced. Silence! I'm live streaming. There we go. That thing will turn on. If I see something, I'll see something. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, but if a local student, Mr. Nathaniel Esquire. You're not alone in here. Not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we'll always be on your side. I'm in your death forever! I shall never forget this great night. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The call session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once! Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes! 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 Oh god. For God's sakes, I must have given him a horrible voice. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Even though everything is based on evidence, and what evidence have I got aside from a book receipt? 20th February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Alright, now we're back here.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare the willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord.
No, you're not.
I sound like Cell from the Team 4-star, dear god.
The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. I can't believe I have to face you again.
Sorry, what?
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That your student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur.
Do you have a point?
Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Naogi's arrogance.
Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Son. After all, at a previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent.
Well, too bad I'm drinking wine. Deal with it.
Very true, and most fascinating. If dark trial it was too.
The tragic conclusion came later, of course.
Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here on court as impartial members of the public?
You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone.
Really? You're now a juror. You were a witness in the previous trial, and now you're a juror. Frickin' fair play as a juror.
Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear.
You I have never seen. Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I don't think I've seen you before. You!
I'm afraid to say it's quite possible that mustache foreigner did the deed.
Okay. Joanne, Mrs. Garnetzx is actually a juror.
Come on now, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyways.
Actually, no. I gotta give this.
Come on now, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Hey, sir, I didn't quite catch that.
I haven't seen you. 2 people on the jury I've seen before, but 4 people I haven't. I don't know if that means anything, but what the hell?
Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Garnetzx.
Hey, I'm soon there for the what? Really? Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, things.
Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with the rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of the most sinister act.
Ah, dang it.
Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street and making me throw my wine into the fire again. Into the fire it goes.
Knife crime? I'll tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are.
He would know. Just look at the sallow complexion of the short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
Come on now, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sorry, didn't quite got through that.
Made me throw my chalice into the fire. Pray forgive the discourtesy of my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. I blame it all on the Nipponese. Into the fire it goes. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Into the fire.
No. No.
Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
That's gonna be a random joke. Into the fire.
Your name and occupation, please.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector, Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be?
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by our attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been in comatose ever since.
What? So I don't even know who she is for sure?
Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger?
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector.
Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at the street map.
As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It is not long since it stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her. Of course, I say this with the most deadpan expressions as possible. Look at the lack of emotions in my face. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far.
Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, that you please.
Case file containing an overview of the case, the details of the victim. She was found with a knife in her back and is currently in hospital, yet to regain conscious.
What of the weapon? What was used?
Wait, I probably need to take a look at it. Pavement on my road, east side, reporting officer. Rolly beat. Rolly beat. Huh. Initial notes: the victim remains unconscious. Her name was gleaned from her personal effects. Other details are unknown, apart from the single stab wound and the large knife. No other signs of injury are observed. The assailant was seen running away by the reporting officer and was successfully arrested the following day. Wait, was there? No, it just loops around. Oh well.
What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back.
Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. I'm afraid I'll be stabbed in the back now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the straggler looks so sicky-san, I suppose.
A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence.
Jackknife, a large but commonplace folding knife. It was found lodged in the victim's back.
Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume?
I should probably look at the knife, just in case. Huh. Okay. Something's off about it. Like, the end of the knife is broken? Oh, look here, Mr. Naruto. Just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mr. Sato. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear! I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. Huh. Interesting, that's a thing. So, frickin' jackknife. Tip is missing. I wonder why.
From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possession, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord.
I see. Well, in that case, we're looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim.
I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
If theft and grievance have been ruled out as... dang it. Well, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have for stabbing the young woman? Yeah, you arrested the man in spite of that. In a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
What's the reason? Oh my god, he freaking took the wine bottle. Whoop! Whee! He just freaking threw that wine bottle up by the 2 fingers. Oh my god.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery.
Why? Why did he freaking fling that bottle? Oh my god, that was just random.
But your words have soured its hollow bouquet. You made me do it.
For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here.
I put all my blame and shame on you.
What? I'm here. Okay. Hi here. I'm gonna type that here. Hi here. He just frickin' took the bottle by the nose with his 2 fingers and went whee!
Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nippon student.
Yes, sir. Alright, motive time.
Mr. Natsume's arrest.
As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. Blah! The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Alright, I'm Thrifty Howland. No, you're not. Because I don't see anyone on the security cam. Alright. Huh?
Also, check door.
Seriously? Is that you over there? Yeah? Do I seriously check the door? Even though I saw a freaking... You know what? Fine. I'll check the door. But if nothing happens, I'm just gonna use the washroom. Yes. Fine. Be right back. Okay, it happened again. Yeah, I definitely heard a knocking on the door. It happened again. Someone did it. Ugh. Oh well. It happened again. You decided to call pizza on me again. Why you kick me out? What do you mean why you kicked me out? You weren't there. You probably got this guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the person that you try to get. Car in the back, right in the driveway. This person. No. Frickin' hell. Yeah, called another pizza guy on me. I gotta turn him down. Sorry. No pizza. Anyways, on with the live stream. No. I can't afford the pizza. Okay. Where was I?
I was being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from the bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the book to arrest him.
Oh, books, you say?
Yes, my lord, I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident.
Interesting, this one's in color.
Oh, yes, I can clearly see the books to which you're referring to. I will take that photograph and print it as evidence, please, Inspector.
Huh. Photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident occurred. The large knife can be seen thrusting the victim's back.
You Nepalese are a spineless breed. Too cowardly to admit defeat.
Ah. Oh, man. Now, where was I?
Just denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Well, forgive me, Lord Garnetzx, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Sato?
Do go on!
Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Narahado? I will come back with a better party food. No, don't. I don't want to have to afford it. Ah, crap. Crap, wrong way. Alright, where is it? Don't. There we go, okay. Okay, well, now you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what all happened.
As I was walking along the coast of pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed under the cold.
You want to sell it? No. Actually, yes, but not that I have to pay for it.
The cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs could carry me back to my accursed lodgings. Right across the street. It's right over there.
Great overcoat. How about banana? No, I already have banana right here. I have a second one. Well, that's exactly what the woman with the printer was wearing. Oh man, I want to have something to eat. I'm always having something to eat. Good thing I brought a second banana with me. Ah, dang it. What about it? No. Dizzle. No. No. That's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing.
Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come up with next?
The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. He does not mean it. That does not mean he is guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back.
There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there was nobody else who could have possibly stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. No.
Hi.
I think the woman said. It seems the cross-examination could be proved pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. I swallowed one.
No. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Glaring eyes. Either way. Oh, man. Alright, who else? Okay, as I said, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There is usually fog. Okay. Hold it! Only fog, you say?
Well, life for London, you can see the opposite side of the street for once.
Did you know Herm? No, I don't. No, I don't. That's light, isn't it?
Well, yes, you could say that. Around these parts, yes, not something I expect from a Japanese fellow like yourself, of course, because I always say that to everybody who's not British. The sexism runs within the country, you know. Actually, no, racism.
I heard that London is famous for its fog. And pea soup! But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance.
Just how quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate.
I see.
At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of incidents, especially when it's heavy. This is how bored I am. I've seen too much of it. My deadpan expression tells all.
I'm not racist, but... Oh, God. Why? I'm not racist, but... Insert racist statement here.
Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. It's like you're invisible to yourself.
Indeed, the other day I was nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
Just that's enough. Definitely remember to stop, look, and listen.
However, on the day in question... However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Visibility was reasonably good and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused.
Hold it! What about the officer that reported? How are you able to say that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses of this crime has told us.
Ah, yes. Inspector Grayson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard.
That is correct, Mom.
Why? Why the milk does that? Then we must hear the testimony.
The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary.
But, wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the middle of the winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen.
Nope. I'm aware of the situation of your Thailand island in the east. But here in the capital city of Britain, all main roads are illuminated by the night. In the night by the gas streetlights. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime.
Quite! Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If we could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to.
It seems the counsel for the defense is taking shock. Continue with the testimony, Inspector. Before I get more bored and leave everything up to the judge to make the statement.
Ordered the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. Hold it! From behind, you say? I see. Oh, great.
That's right, as you can see from the sprint.
Yes.
Quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. As you said, this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition. Comatose, no less.
I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's been treated at Bots. Hopefully last name not Simpson. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. No.
Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been the most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events.
Luck is on our client's side, it seems.
Milk-toast slap. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Do you like McDonald's? It sounded like No, figures.
Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid.
Ugh. Figures.
The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Hold it! Mr. Natsume's belongings?
I think you'll find it's all in the photographic print of the crime scene.
Yes, the 3 books on the floor.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books. They were irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could have easily carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
Westbury, what? He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He managed to close The one avenue escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You meant to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he...
Ugh. Hey, Snickers. Why do you hate Snickers? Why? Seriously.
Ugh. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrusts the knife into the woman's back? Are you sure that's the thing he thrusted? It could have been something else.
That must be what happened, my lord, yes. Yes. Those being the number of old books he'd just bought. He was on his way from the bookshop, it seems. Those being a number of old books he just bought. Gordon Keene sees you. What? Okay. That's interesting you might say that. But... Here's from the second-hand bookshop. The sum of 2 shillings tendered. The picture of most rare. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of the picture of Monsieur Lecoq. What? A meal for Gabbro, Canterbury Yearnings. Okay. Come back from back currently in the hospital. You have to regain conscious. Running away. Details of a woman. I don't know. I feel like something's off here, but I don't know what. Number of old books he just bought. He was on his way to home. From a bookshop, it seems. Hold it! That is true. Garnetzx lives in 20 Westbury. Okay, fine. The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. That's quite right, yes. So I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject.
1v1 Fortnite, bro. No, I don't want to 1v1 you. I don't want to 1v1 you at anything.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accuser's lodging is this place here, Burn Books. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it will happen, the accuser is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the road he would have taken home. Something like this.
Local maps. Updated. There.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant was certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
Mr. hold up. I think what that inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being the bookshop's location, the bookshop's name, the bookshop's stock. The most important point the inspector made, the location. The crucial detail you just told the court, Inspector, is the location of the bookshop.
I couldn't agree more.
So, where is it exactly?
Are you wondering of some kind?
Oh god, what is that?
I just explained that! Got the map out and everything, using red, blue, and ink. Drew the bloke's roof.
I distinctly remember seeing you not alone, Counsel.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. I must have been so nervous I didn't take it in.
A blunder of the day goes to you, my lord friend.
Not cool. Not cool. No, yeah, the trial's just only begun after all. Mr. Naruhodo, I would strongly advise you look carefully through the court record at this stage. Yes, miss. I want to, miss. Sorry, I made a mistake, miss.
Inspector, continue with your testimony, please.
One more, and you'll be put in timeout. One more. Huh? And I'll frickin' time you out. I don't condone hateful language. Alright. Those books, being our books, your spy was on his way. Probably should save it here. I don't condone whatever that is. Ugh. One more of anything of whatever that is. And I'll put you in timeout. Okay? Oh. Hide. Stream Fortnite, you'll get reviews. I have more accounts than you have cells in your body. No, you don't. I have billions of cells in my body. You have way less than that. Stream Fortnite. No! I don't want to stream Fortnite. No! Fortnite frickin' has kids screaming in your face. Dear God. Alright, I got... Something tells me I gotta... Hold it! Look at this again. So I understand. Okay. There's something important about this. Lost, like the afraid. Closest, a little place in the corner of Briar Road, Meership Street. As it happens, the accused is currently little lodging on the other side, which means... Okay. So we just asked the location... Okay, so... Okay. The most important point that the inspector made, the stock, the bookshop's name... Stock. Okay, the bookshop's name was not mentioned. The bookshop's stock is that they also sell secondhand books. The name could mean anything. The stock. I often think, Inspector, that what really makes for a good bookshop is the quality books they stock. Okay, was it? Yes, I think I agree with you on that. For example, you go to a bookshop and buy a serialized set of novels, but when you return home, you find your horror, the third volume is missing. Doesn't bear thinking about, just the sort of thing that really gets my goal. You spam one more time, and I put you in timeout. Final warning. That's it. You're going in timeout. There we go. There we go! Problem solved. You remind me of Carnage because... Oh, figures. Well, I think I did enough Carnage here. Doesn't get my gold? Exactly! That is the point I was trying to make. Well, now that you two have found common ground in the fascinating scenario... If you do the same thing, I'll do the same thing with you. And I'm not talking about addresses, I'm talking about spamming. Perhaps we might continue with the cross-examination if you're quite finished, my Lord Nipponese friend. Yes! Wait, what just happened? What just happened, Mr. Nahodo? Was that you allowed yourself to be sidetracked? I was strongly advise you carefully look through the court record at this stage. So what's this? Sorry, I made that mistake, miss. Okay, it wasn't the stock, it was... I don't... Wait a second. Oh, crap! That's what I missed. The name of the bookstore. Oh, dang it. That's what I should have looked at. Hold it! Oh my god. You ever heard of me? Oh, figures. Defendant fairly. Skip the whole thing. The name of the bookstore. Yeah, that's what I should have looked at. Okay. So the stock doesn't have anything to do. Bourbon books. Okay, so we're looking at this thing one more time. Yeah, I need to look at the court record. Defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime. Da 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 da. Okay, let's try this. The most important point is the bookshop's name. Why? You'll see. Inspector Grayson may ask you a favor. What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector.
Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say.
Could the man be any more sardonic? Dear God.
He was on his way home for Bourbon Books, a second-hand bookshop he
Apparently patronized. Okay, so here's a contradiction. Bourbon Books. But if you look at the receipt, it's not Bourbon Books, it's your books. So... ammunition! What's in here? If you could just stop right there, Inspector Gregson. Because I gotta say it again. For the millionth time in a row.
What is this, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know.
This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books.
And you found that in the accuser's room, did you?
Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your books? Your, I presume?
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at the second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books! Are the enemy characters talking about the Lana? No, they're not.
Hey, what? Inspector, do you know this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop where the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes.
The anime character... oh my god.
Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, he makes no difference in the final analysis.
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the stream out here if that might be of any help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning... one more of this, and I'm putting you in timeout. Now, let's not get too disgusting here. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, that was certainly a passive place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that it was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he would have passed that he wouldn't have passed that location at all.
Could that be true?
It really depends on what this other bookshop is, but I do declare to be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? For sure, you know what to do. Absolutely. It could absolutely be right. So the accused would have taken a different route home.
Inspector Grayson, where's this Your Books establishment?
Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner on Meerschaum Street, going east.
Location, showing the location relevant to the case. And there you have it. As you can clearly see. Oh. Would it have been the same direction?
My learned Japanese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus.
Grr. You put the glasses down now or I'll put it down for you.
I don't think I need to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home for Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he would still have passed the place where the victim was stabbed.
Yes, thank you, Inspector.
I get drunk off of this, really. Allow me to reiterate for my lone friend, if somewhat slow Nipponese friend. There's racism in this courtroom today.
What?
Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference to the final analysis. Also, my fingers are bleeding, dear God.
Ah! My God.
As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What do you say, eh? I've had enough of this now.
Beg your pardon? Do you be sure I'm going to make you more sure picture house?
Mr. Hodo, we mustn't give up. What? What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. We must think. What the hell is that? Sorry, drop my shit said. Right. No wall text. You don't need to have a wall of text. Ugh. You should be a voice actor instead of here. Yeah, well, I have a different set of ideas of what I'm gonna do. We consider the assertions put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. It claims Soseki must have passed the location of the incident on his way home in your books, but raise an objection or leave it. But if I am going to raise an objection, why? Maybe it's possible he could have taken a different route on the way back. Raise an objection. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel!
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route as suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked!
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point that out.
This person will be a 5-star voice actor in the Morgan Freeman. I am Morgan Freeman.
That route is commonly referred to as the long way around. What? On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer road home?
Well, I don't know.
The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, your argument sucks. End of story. Goodbye. The accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings, and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home.
I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection.
How? Ha.
That's right, as I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B.
How?
Today was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which road he took home.
Ah, crap. Why? Ah, I don't believe this! I don't believe it either.
I thank you, my lone friend. And suggest that we don't waste any more time in the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Like the accused, who will soon be frickin' convicted by my cold, bloody hands. Pray, what you say, insightful jurors?
Oh, man. But, even if that is the case, the defense still... Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
I agree with Lord Garnetzx. Wholeheartedly and in every way.
What? I don't believe it. Does this mean...
We members of the jury I'm completely convinced now!
Yeah.
Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Wow. That went south very fast. So that means we gotta go for another summation examination again.
It would appear that the jury's leaning is unanimous.
Wow. Didn't have a chance to respond to anything, but the jury already decided.
To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve the Queen and country admirably.
Mr. Naruhodo. Hodo. Dang it! Why do I keep saying Hado? No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow.
Those eyes are the eyes of the quarry not you're willing to give up and die. Funny how anyone who gets in front of me dies, but not you. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago.
Travis. Call antiquated, if you will. But it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Ford?
Of course, we're ready. I'm all too familiar with the Whippany's whippersnapper and his uncle's refusal to throw into his alley.
You hear what happened? No, I did not. Is this gonna be a messed up thing? Seriously?
Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you'll explain each on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. So we have, just like before, we have to somehow pit these guys against each other. Oh, crap. That's horrible. That ain't right.
For pity's sake, that little nippy's oddity already admitted himself, didn't he?
If they said that woman in the green collapsed before his eyes, why, it could only have been the victim. The man would have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, wasn't she? How dreadful.
I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now about what to be doing? Your book says, nice job. Oh no, what is it?
Frickin' off-brand Santa Claus.
With only minor exceptions, the reason for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear.
When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
But didn't admit to murder, or attempted murder.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant has fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh no, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Ugh, why did it have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force this trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Ah, that's gotta hurt. I just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Even if I slap double face palm Even if I double cheek face palm myself to death. Come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Giving myself the pep talk. Jury summation. The defense's rebuttal. Alright. I have a couple of ideas on how to do this, but I'm not entirely sure. Because just like the previous one, the first one is hard to get through.
Oh, pity's sake, that little manipulator's already admitted it himself, didn't he?
I can pit or press, so... Hold it! Excuse me, but... Aren't you...
Yes, that's right. I was a witness myself just 2 days ago.
Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the side of it, anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London Walk. And it was all going smoothly until you saw a fool sticking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man over at Puke.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and the young hunter pegged as criminals.
Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock.
Well, anyways, I don't know about that, Hannah, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind as who's guilty and who isn't.
Ah, thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now.
He said that the woman in green collapsed before his eyes. Why, it can only have been the victim.
Hold it! You're right about the time of the incident. The defendant admits to have seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Oh, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was a victim. And clearly, the funny little deputy's man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
Let's not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. Amy man says telling her his life is over. The man is absolutely level-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie you're suggesting, do you think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you're forward. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
I can tell you what's going on through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity. I must submit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well for her. Okay.
The man would have gone around houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not him, we told.
From behind, was she? How dreadful.
I really don't care. Just wrap this up now. I got worked.
I feel like I could not cross-examine, but press these two. So hold it! A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's.
Ah,
And actually, you wouldn't understand, but a liberal like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids.
oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to you never more to find out what needs to be doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water or gas pipes bursting left and right and center. They're after the cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from the dawn till dusk, it is.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right.
I literally answered.
In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right. Mearsham Street it was.
Mearsham Street? On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can we just get the business over with?
Oh, man. Oh, well. I'll just turn this off. Give me a second.
Can we get this business over with now?
Please, sir. It's important.
No, it's fine. I'll do it. On the night day, I was digging up Meerschaum Street from dusk till dawn.
I feel like that's important. Because oops, let's go back to that. That wouldn't have gone around the houses. Wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. Let's take a look at something on the map. Because Meerschaum Street was kinda being worked on. So I'm gonna pit juror number 3 and 5 together. So here! Depressed man. Those two statements are clearly at odds with one another.
Hello, counsel. Explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
Hey, what? I just want to get this done and dusted.
I'm back from my date. Okay. Well, juror number 3. Oh, Lisa? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's being said on their map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited a bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there are works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. Well, what do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had turned back and go the other way.
So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But, we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may?
Yes?
I don't think I am in good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. I nod. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so I can get to the bottom of what really happened. So he's changing his vote. What about you, sir?
Hey, who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in, that's what I should say. That's what I say.
So he convinced 2. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we managed to change a couple of minds at least, to strengthen our position somewhat. Yes, and I'll prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider the stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we gotta do. Garnetzx is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent. By whatever means necessary, we have it at our disposal.
Thank you, counsel. I want the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Jury gotta be a piece of cake for you. Say, Dilly, I can see it. I have to say, not guilty at this point. Poor was attacked from behind. Was she? How dreadful.
Your books. They shove that Bourbon books.
Hold it!
Sorry? Hold it, you say? For what?
No. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of tea. It's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day.
Oh man.
Including the day you're talking about.
And at the time you visit your books on the date, what time?
Well, I was picking up books in the afternoon. I would have been there just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day. Including the day you're all talking about. My life's mundane.
Just before 5, you say, exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh, yes. No mistake there. I remember it well. Not about to forget that day in a hurry. After the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down the Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dumped my head. It's always supposed after the snow stopped falling. That's where it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up. I must have kicked the bucket. Bought the farm. Sold my ships. That sort of shit.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. Where? Same day.
That's right. I live in Coalpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you added that information to the former statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Huh? You smell you sick? No, I'm quite alright now.
You've changed 2 of our jurors' minds, Mr. Hodo. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow now. It's time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do this Sato takedown. I suppose words will have to suffice for now. Oh man. Victim. Wait. You said that the woman in green collapsed before his eyes. Why, it could only have been the victim. I feel like there's another thing. We just heard the woman in green collapse before his eyes. And slipped over, leaving myself on Calabash Road after I knocked myself clean. I feel like I could pit Juror 2 and 6 together. Because he's also wearing a green coat. But just to be sure, I would rather press before his eyes. So I'm just gonna press just to be sure. Right at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to have seen someone wearing green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quite, that's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green coat was the victim. And clearly that funny little piece man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. Forget the defendant really... Okay, I think I may have already done it. Someone wearing a green coat. Okay. The accused must be the man. Okay. I'm going to pit her. But let me just save it, anyways. Because I like to be saved alive. Okay, here. I know I'm a little bit bored, but I'm just gonna get into this. And after jury duty, I'm gonna save it again and end the live stream because it's almost 2 hours. So, pit you with you. So, here! Those who see me clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
Flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6.
Whatever do you mean, sir?
My beard is my face. I forgot to take the shaving cream off this morning.
I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There's at least one fact which can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man said he had no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are all aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection.
Can we really be sure of that, madame? Why? Whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard your number 6 account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and fell over on the icy streets of the neighborhood. Oh my! Ooh. My goodness, you mean... That's right. I'm referring, of course, to juror number 6. To the hard of hearing, juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man had a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me!
Sir, you need to pee?
I do. I really do. And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my!
You idiot, old man. It must have been that. If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming about there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago.
And really, what were you thinking? Where was such a befuddling coat?
What are you saying, Will? Is it a crime for the old idiot who walks the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat? Is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause me any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
And I will too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well...
So that's how you do it.
Well, the summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in being.
And with that, I'm going to save it again and end the live stream. Because I want to sleep, get up, tell myself not to be depressed, and actually live stream twice. I could have done it yesterday, but I got super depressed. Alright, in any case, thank you all for joining, and I shall be back tomorrow to see you all again. Alright?